established a branch in the US side here. So I've been living there for 13 years. And then now I'm not living at the Ecovillage anymore. We just started that nonprofit called System Network. And I'm just wanted to promote the idea of living sustainably in a small like community and promoting as much as I can that movement and make it accessible for people also to live in an eco-village and have the ability to create a livelihood that is sustainable.
And yeah, well, I just also want to thank Rebecca for being on the call. She's been a longtime friend that I met in Austin, Texas, and she just came to our most recent event that I'm glad to say was a success. It was our first launch event for Whole Systems Network, and Rebecca's business sponsored us and supported us, and she was able to speak. So it was really cool, and it's always nice to see that weaving happening and you being on the call. So I appreciate that. A bit about me. Well, when we had scheduled this call even before. We thought we would all be online forever. Hopefully not forever, but that's also why we want to hold this space, is like, okay, now what do we do, and how do we transition from being back in person with each other in ways that feel safe for everyone? So that's a little bit of my personal intention of holding this space. And yeah, I was living in Austin, Texas, but currently living with my partner here in New Hampshire, so not that far away from where you are, Ryan. And I'm really interested in the Ecovillage movement and permaculture, and just excited to share where we can all go with this, and finding ways to support each other in a mental space, on a skill-based and resource level, and yeah, just a support. So yeah. So we're gonna go into, we actually do have somewhat of a curriculum written up. So do you go into what Whole Systems Network is? Not really. Okay. So Whole Systems Network, you online or seeing what we're about, but just to give you a background, we started this organization because of our interests and connections with Ecovillage and permaculture specialists around the world, mainly through the Global Ecovillage Network, which is how me and Leonie had met each other. And I was also co-directing the Austin Permaculture Guild, and just traveling a lot, and we realized like how much there is a need to connect both of those movements and the transition town movements and proliferate that information while also offering eco-entrepreneurship, because I firmly believe that if we can put more skills behind how we can prosper together as we're creating new ways to live, we need to, at this point in time, put financial backing and find ways to create capital, doing these things that are sustainable but not necessarily looked at as a livelihood or a career. But like, you know, we know like what you're talking about, Ryan, of starting this space, an eco-village space is really generative, or the way that we're holding space right now is like, we need to be fulfilled in order to fulfill. And also on those other notes, like how do we, the people that are already making livelihood, can they transition into something more sustainable? So making it vice versa. And I think Village Farms is also doing something that is exactly that. So it's nice to have that picture as well. So we prepared a PowerPoint, and it's just a really brief one because we wanted to have the space more about community building, but we'll transition into that now. So Hold on. Can you all tell me, Rebecca, could you tell me if you see the screen?
I can see it.
Okay, thank you. Someone tell me. Great. So, let's see. Oh, so we're gonna start with that, but just to give you a little bit of background too. Well, I guess I basically just said that, but that we want to see more businesses being successful. And so what we've done in this small PowerPoint, we have ones that are a lot longer and more in depth, and we'll tell you about that later. But we just want to give you a picture of what these types of spaces that are really grandiose, some of them not as much, but different ways that you can realize the potential of making a financial living out of something really beautiful and harmonious with the earth.
Okay, so the first slide we have here is Finhorn Ecovillage in Scotland. And this Ecovillage is really like a successful one. It's one of the oldest Ecovillage existing also. And I think like they make their way to make the place sustainable by teaching. So they create that huge learning center where thousands of people are coming like every year. And when they can talked about like community living, they also create like really great system to clean like gray waters and all those also tools that you need to learn in order to be able to start an eco-village. So that's is one of the strong way we find that like eco-village could make a living is by sharing their knowledge, creating a center for learning. So there's many more, and I think it's something also that any organization like permaculture organization also see a benefit of creating like a kind of learning center where they can share about like the PDC. It's a big thing like in permaculture, but also like you can find like different aspect within all what you learn in a PDC and create something like that you can share with people. And it is also like a basic, like when you want to create, it could be like either like a project like an eco village, or you want to create like an eco businesses. Like I think taking the time to put some hours into like doing some outreach and teaching people and talking to people of what you're doing. And I think it's a really big benefit for your project, for your business, and it make it more sustainable. The next life is Symbiosis, a regenerative system, is in Austin, Texas. And I think it shows also a way to take like what you learn through permaculture, like what you can do after taking a PDC. I think people really find their ways. I know a few people that have been like starting businesses like that one, like becoming like designer for landscape and to help like to regenerate the soil and to regenerate the land.
And also with this one, I would say I actually worked for them. That's how I moved to Austin, Texas. And the guy that runs it is Mike Wolfert. And what I love about it's regenerative, and he finds a way to make income growing organic crops. And the way he does that is like a lot of permaculture gardens are not the most organized, and they're a lot more about regeneration rather than focusing on like how maybe machines can go and grab items, or even people, like how do you find olives really easily when there is vines all going up the tree and different things like that. So he makes it a way that's balanced for the ecosystem, but also for making a profit. And he's done that in really large landscapes like this all across Central Texas.
So another example is the community I've been raised in, and there's also Twin Oak community that is really similar, and other community is creating businesses that are really centered with the same mission and vision that the project they are in. Like at La Cité, they create businesses that are like have the same vision as the Ecovillage itself. So the Ecovillage, when it starts in 1984 in Quebec, the idea of creating like that micro town, micro city, ecologic, was to give the opportunity to its member, the parents, to be in contact with their kids and to play a very important role into their education. So creating businesses that were like accessible by a walking distance, where people can go and work, and when it's lunchtime, they can gather together and have some chat with their kids about their morning and then go back to work afterwards. So it makes like it's creating a really high quality life, having the opportunity to have like having like your basic need cover, and I could say like even above the basic need that are covered, like having a good like life, and also having the chance to like really be there for your kids and really support. So when times sometime are harder in your business, or there's like a pandemic like right now, when you have like all those like really strong value set ahead, I think it's a really strong foundation for your business to strive. Do you want to? So one of the business that has been created at La Cité is Kiops International. It's a wholesale business, and the idea behind the business is selling some meaningful gifts. So we are representing like over 1,000, I would say 3,000, if I remember correctly, 3,000 like different multi-faith item. So to like send out the message that we can live together on the same earth, and we can share, and we can learn to respect each other with our difference. So Kiops right now has over 4,000 customers in United States, and it's also like give opportunity for not only the member of the community itself, but it gives opportunity for people of the surrounding town to work for Kiops, so for the community, and support the local economy as well. So that's also something that it's really important when you want to start something that would be like sustainable, like making sure that you are like supporting your local community as well, and that your local community are like willing to support your mission and your vision and your business.
Yeah, and I just want to add a little bit to what Leonie's saying as far as like that business and this business, which we'll go into a little bit in a second, but those are supporting this community, and the community had this vision to create this space, and they actually even have like a pool and a hot tub. And I visited a lot of spaces, but this is definitely one of the like more luxurious ones. But that's the bar that they raised for themselves, and then they found a way that is sustainable, that works for them. And I just want to say, like, there's many other ways, and not to be intimidated, because there's definitely other ways to do that doesn't have to be as glamorous, but are still really tangible. Not to belittle what they're able to achieve. Like, it's so beautiful, and they're definitely a model of what it looks like. And like our other PowerPoints and things, we go into like what all of those other different models can look like as far as still being a business model within an Ecovillage center.
So then also another vision that La Cité has when it started is like really be able to create a high quality food access for its member, and also for the surrounding like communities, like selling in farmers market and stuff. So we create the New Art Organic Farm in New Hampshire, but there's also like another farm that has been created like in Quebec back in days in 1984, and it also like really support, like trying to support the community. Like we are growing about 40% of what's the community like of its need in vegetables, and it also like serve the surrounding like town, and it produce also an income for the community. So fellowship for intentional community, it's another way to create sorts of a revenue. It's also a little bit what we want to do with the All System Network, is creating like a platform. Fellowship for Intentional Community, they created like a directory, like to also like bring the awareness of people of what is existing. Like you can see the map on the top, like left side is like a map of existing eco-village in the world. And they all have also like the magazine where people from the communities, but also people that are in the eco movement could like send some like articles talking about their project, talking about what is existing as training also, like to help your community to thrive. And it's a great tools also if you want to start something, or you want to join a community, like go on ic.org, and they have a great like directory, and you can like funnel your search through what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's really a great tool, and also I find it to be something that is notable for our PowerPoint in saying like that there's not only people doing work on the ground and making natural homes, which, you know, we talked about with the permaculture business, or creating a learning center, but these people are literally, they're connectors. They're creating a platform, and that's also what Whole Systems Network is doing. But like FIC is really a role model in saying like, this is what's possible. We'll show you all the different places. You can get in touch with each of these people, and you can even look at their magazines and get, or well, right now they actually just canceled their magazines, or they're in revision of how they're going to do it. But, you know, seeing articles and just getting a good taste for what it is. And I think that's it for that portion.
So we were wondering if you have any question regarding like just what we've been talking about,
or any questions you might have around this movement in general, or Joy, like about sustainable building and things like that.
I have have a broader question.
Okay.
You're really well connected in the intentional community space. How are our fellow, peers responding to the coronavirus situation? Do you think there's a tipping point for the movement? More people will want to live like this?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think this is a moment we've been waiting for. It's sad and it's crazy to say that, but I know that I wasn't personally getting ready for a virus to happen, but climate change is this thing that's just looming over us. And it's slowly happening, and there's all of these smaller crises in this fear-based, Rebecca, like you're saying, world where they're saying, okay, like this is going to happen, this is what's going to happen. And that where what I was seeking for finding this movement was that it would give me a peace of mind, feeling like, okay, like these are real tangible ways we can get ready for whatever's coming and create resilience, and most importantly, create community around us where it's not just one person growing the food and that same person creating the home and taking care of the animals and trying to make money, but it's a group of people finding ways to share that together. So to answer what you're saying directly, like the symbiosis, he's saying he's getting more calls right now than he has in the last few months, and he's using it as a time to be like, let's plant more veggies, let's do this. And he's not just trying to make money, obviously that's his need, but he's doing it because he's feeling of service right now. And I do feel like more and more people are feeling pushed, including us, to be like, okay, like this is the time to find already doing it or to create space where we can share and figure out what's next.
Yeah, I'm working right now in the essential service. Like I'm working for the co-op, the natural food co-op here in Littleton, New Hampshire, and it's a great experience to see that. And I really love that co-op. I think they have a great value, and they really, really want to be like as supportive as they can, like for the community here in New Hampshire. And they are like we're doing all our like what is in our capacity to like go in different like department of the store and like do our part to help the people to find what they need. And to be honest, like it's really great to work in a place when they value a lot the social aspect between the people that are working in that place. And it makes a huge difference, I would say, in those times of crisis, because so many people like just entering the store with their mask, and you can see that the fear in their face. And we just like as people that are working in that store, we just say like let put a smile on our face, and we try to be nice to each other, and we really try to like let it like show the people that we really care and that we really want to support them, but at the same time like taking in account like the people we're working with, like we are also like forming a strong team. And I think that is really important also to take the time to acknowledge that need. And as for an example of like, I know what they're doing at La Cité right now. Maybe you want to hear about like a community, how they are like, I think like they have like daily meeting, like where they all share together what is happening in the world and in New Hampshire. And they also like trying to take like measure as a group of people. But once again, like those people are the same people that started like those businesses. So they are on the same page. So they are sharing like their vision about what needs to be done as a community. community, as they've been working also on their like the social aspect of their relation in between each other. Like it makes it so much easier to go through those crises too. And that is also something like I think it's that WSN wants to be part is like to be able to connect people with like specialists that could like support those needs, like some training and learning more about what can you do to improve those skills.
Do you have other questions?
Hey everyone, I had a question about you. I saw on your website that you would act as a fiscal agent for people trying to raise funds. Yeah, like our group, there's 4 of us right now, and we're just exploring the possibility of creating an eco-village here in Kennebunkport, where my partner grew up on her parents' land, and we're looking at different legal structures, but one that we're interested in at the moment is a community land trust, which I don't know if anyone's heard of, but it's kind of like the land trust holds the land, and then people or families get to lease the ground, usually 99-year leases, and then you can build whatever your improvement is on top of that and own that. So it's a cool way to keep land ownership in common and keep the housing affordable. But we are definitely going to need to raise some funds in order to create, make this happen. So we've been kind of like looking around for someone that could do that while we get nonprofit or LLC or whatever we do up and running. So I'd love to hear about how you guys are thinking that would go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, wanted to touch on what you were talking about, the community land trust. It's definitely a really popular option for communities, and it's something that I wouldn't say that we're experts in, but definitely have been studying a lot and seeing places where it's working, like OUR Ecovillage is one really good example, and somewhere we stayed this past summer. There's pros and cons to it from what we've been discussing. Like it's definitely a way to share land really easily. And it's a way to make it really affordable because you can take out parts of the value of the land, and that's basically what a land trust means. Like, are you going to put it into a conservation, or you can put it in low income, or different things like that? And that's something that will be there forever. Like, then there's the lease aspect, but as far as the land trust itself, it's like you can never change it. It might just be farming land forever, which is really cool unless you make it something that ends up restricting you in the end if you did it too soon. So that's what the conversation we've been having around that. And also, if you were to ever want to sell it again as one person, then you won't really get your return. But as far as people that are like, we're in it for the long haul, and that's not what our interest is, maybe that aspect doesn't necessarily matter. I don't think it would matter for me personally, but maybe if I had kids and I wanted to leave them with something, I would change my mind. I don't. And as far as the fiscal sponsor, currently we're fiscally sponsoring Austin Permaculture Guild. And the way that we're doing that is not because we have a lot of money. Definitely the contrary. We're still a starting nonprofit ourselves, and we're trying to figure out the best ways for us to create regular funds. But the way we did that with that organization is we were able to build a membership model for them. And we have rolling income that comes just through like $5 a month from 10 to 20 people per month. and sometimes it's more. We have up to $100 options. And it's a process, and it's something that we're willing to explore more. Another way to do that is host events. So if you were to ask us to host an event on your space, if you have a good space or you find a good venue, then we would, if you were able to find that space for us, then we would give you a percentage of what that is. And more importantly, we're giving you promotion or other ways in which you're needing to meet the ways of getting your needs met. We're also open to like consultations and other ways of form eco-village living, and then working with you to find ways to create revenue streams. And then, of course, like using the nonprofit umbrella, which is what fiscal sponsorship means, is like, okay, you're not a nonprofit right now, but if you find people that want to give you money and then be able to write it off, we would be able to like swoop you under our umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good to know it's an option.
Yeah. You're not that far away either, so.
I know. I was planning on visiting, I think, site. Is it Site or Site? How do you pronounce that? Site?
It's like, it's the ecological city.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was planning on visiting it this summer, and I was going to go check out D Acres too.
Yeah, it's a nice place to go.
We'll see if that happens or not. Hopefully it does.
We actually visited today. We actually went to Birdhouse today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Vermont.
Another budding community.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I guess we lost
Joyce?
Yeah, Joy on there. But we have a few more questions. I don't know if you want to go through it since it's just us four now, but I think it could be still a space where we talk about it around for what you're seeing is needed in society right now, and what do you think that we need moving forward? And Rebecca, you kind of asked on that, but I'm curious what you're thinking around what you're seeing is needed more so.
Yeah, we've always had a huge demand for the tiny homes and living that lifestyle that's alternative near a farm. But what I'm really surprised with is that now people are being forced to downsize. They're being forced to rethink their lifestyle. They're being forced to do things that they can afford and be more efficient with how they spend their time. And there's a whole new perception of self-sufficiency and being more self-reliant. And I honestly feel really blessed to be in the position I am in, because I'm in the right place at the right time to help people live this tiny home lifestyle near a farm, because the demand is going to be greater than ever before. And like you were saying, it's a tragedy that this is happening. But at the same time, I think that this massive pumping of the brakes is going to cause everyone to really rethink how they live their day-to-day lives and to shift into a new paradigm. And so I'm feeling very optimistic. I mean, obviously it's very sad what's happening, but it's also an opportunity to kind of internalize and look inward and really think about how we can improve as a species. And I think that the trend is going to be to go toward more sustainable, regenerative lifestyles. And I think really the Ecovillage movement and the intentional community movement is going to grow after this. So I'm feeling pretty good about the future for our movement, and really the necessity to start living this lifestyle. And like you're doing, do it with style, like be an entrepreneur, like have a business. You don't have to live in a, compound where everybody's like in poverty. Like we can do this in a way that there's plenty of abundance, and we're not only meeting our needs, we're exceeding our needs, and we're cooperating and doing it together. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
I like it. Doing it, or what'd you say? Living it in style.
Yes.
Ryan, what do you think?
So I was just thinking as you guys are talking that for me personally, this has been a dream of creating this life that I envision for about 3 or 4 years, I'd say. And, you know, the more I dive deeper into books and talk to more people that are involved in permaculture and eco-villages, like, side note, I got my PDC last fall. But anyways, I just realized that there's nothing new about this. It's just really a return to ways that we've known for thousands of years in a new context. But I think there's a large part of everyone that wants this community feeling, and maybe this crisis is just making that a lot more obvious, and also kind of exposing our global interconnections that are really quite fragile, and showing us how important it would be to supply what we need from our region instead of the world. You know, so those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think it's really hard with the different facts and non-facts that are coming out at us so quickly. It's really hard to distinguish like what's real right now. Like when we hosted the event that Rebecca attended, it was literally like the day before everything shut down, and like we weren't even sure if we were going to be able to get on the plane and go back to New Hampshire. And it was like, but we felt like we had to have this event, not only for us and our own well-being, but because this was a place of community and establishing and making sure that was really heard. Yeah, sharing those dreams together. And but it's just hard because I think, like Rebecca asked earlier, what are other people's responses? And I think it's really easy, especially in this type of movement, to be like in conspiracy and to be in suspicion of like why the upper powers are doing these things. And I'm no one to say whether it's one or the other. I just know like I'm going to be careful. I'm going to wash my hands a lot when I'm out, and I'm trying to stay home as much as anyone else is, because like that's the best thing to do. Now, how long do we do that for? And what if we can create space where we feel good, we're growing our own food together, where we don't have to be looking at the grocery stores, looking at, I mean, I don't know how to figure out the toilet paper situation yet, but probably some plants. But, you know, for mainly being a lot more like reliant here than being afraid and like wondering what the government will do next in either a positive or a negative view. And but I guess like my advice to my friends might be like, oh, this is all like a hoax, or it's something that like they're just wanting to have control. Like take it at one step at a time, you know, and do it in a way that's planning and calm and not freaking out other people, not freaking out yourself, and just plan for the future, because this, like you were just saying, Ryan, like we are in a fragile time and it's only going to become more fragile, and we just have this illusion because of our financial status as countries. But like we're on the precipice of breaking or creating something really beautiful. And yeah, I think that we can only create something else in order not to rely on those other systems that have been in place. Rebecca, do you have anything else to add?
I just want to thank the two of you for putting this on, and I would like to encourage you to continue this great work. And thank you for bringing the Whole Systems Network to life.
Yeah. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for being such a fan, and hope to see you again sometime soon. Yeah, this is obviously, we thought we were going to get a few more signups, and I'm not sure exactly where that gap is, but we're definitely planning on doing this monthly. And I want to go into detail with all those things, but maybe just you could talk about it. We have some other workshops coming up, and we want to share that a bit. Like, we don't want to push it too much because there's only 2 of you on the call, but yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. And I do think it's this transition of, like, there's probably so many different people doing watch parties right now on Facebook and having these different spaces. And I think the most important thing, though, is just to feel like you're having a connection and communication. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, and if I can add one thing, John has been doing these live videos. I can't think of what the program's called, but for the next one, y'all should consider doing it. It links to YouTube, it links to Facebook, and it's like a live video, so people can comment in real time. And because it's live, it pops up on the feed faster. And so whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform, and it allows you to you can switch the screen so someone else can pop in and ask a question. You can type things up. You can share the screen to your PowerPoint or whatever. But anyway, it's been really successful for him, and he's had a lot of interaction and connection that way. So it might be good for you to consider.
Yeah, thank you. We just found Google Suite, and we found it for free, and then I was trying to figure out how to do the live recording part, but we didn't get that far, just enough for it can be interactive. But yeah, I'll reach out to John and see what programmer he's using. You want to say that? You want me to say it? Yeah, so I think so we'll be having this monthly, and we'll be urging more people to sign up, and our goal is to keep having other specialists that we have already in our network to be on the call and have a different theme each month. So definitely stay tuned for that and tell your friends. And we also are starting workshop series that we're packaging and selling for a pretty small price, but the next one is going to be permaculture and Ecovillage business preparedness. And yeah, so just stay tuned. And Ryan, I'd love to talk to you more about, like, how we can help support your dream and
connect.
Yeah, keep connected. And of course, Rebecca, I hope we stay connected, and I hope that, well, when everything else is resuming, that Village Farm keeps taking off. And it's cool to hear about the food forest. Anyways, keep doing it.
Oh yeah. Hey, he said the program's called StreamYard. STREAM Yard. StreamYard.
Okay. I think I even went across that, but I didn't end up finishing it. Okay. Very cool.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you to John. And you guys were so cute event, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I want to say too, I think you guys are going to be really successful with your nonprofit, because a lot of people are trying to live this lifestyle but don't know where to start. So I really think this is a good time to be offering workshops, even if people are paying. They're not going to care. They need the knowledge that the two of you have is invaluable. So I really just want to throw that out there to the universe. You're doing great work, and I think you're going to be rewarded for that. You're going to help a lot of people. So,
Yay! Thank you so much. Oh, we need to hear it. All right, I think we're going to close out. Ryan, if you have anything else to add.
No, yeah, just I do look forward to connecting more and learning more specifically about your work at the regenerative land business in Texas, if we can. Sounds cool to me.
And there's other ones too that we're connected with internationally that they're doing similar things. It just happens that I work personally with the one in Texas. So
yeah, there's a guy that's doing some things. Well, planning his name is Steve Whitman.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He has his own business. Right? Yeah, he's here in Plymouth.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've been trying to find people in in the Seacoast, New Hampshire, Southern Maine area that are doing design work and like connect with them, but it's just I'm so far I've been finding a vacuum, and I've just started to kind of do my own stuff here and there for free or barter, but hopefully it'll turn into something that could support me in the future. You know?
Yeah, well, keep jumping on calls like this and other ones, and you'll keep being on the right path.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Do you have anything else?
No,
Yeah, thanks for doing this, by the way. It's good.
Totally.
thanks for being there.
Bye.